Thank you so much, Anna, and the UANP Chorale.
Thank
Grabe.
you so much.
Wonderful.
Ganda-ganda ng kanilang video.
I
Well
really miss singing, and I really miss riding the train. Just kidding.
no, not so much riding. I don't miss that, but I really miss singing.
And just to go around and all of that. But wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. So this is the part wherein we're going to have an interactive Q&A. So again, we are asking everyone to just type in the chat box any questions or any comments that you may have. Unfortunately, Dr. Angelini had to leave for prior commitments, but if there are any specific questions directed to him, we'll make sure that it reaches him and hopefully be able to respond. But we do have other like Sir Mark and Anna will be joining us for the panel, as well as our
Also,
guest reactor. Sorry, sorry, Kat.
Kuya Ed will be
Yes,
Miss.
and also of course our founder and conductor Kuya Ed Manguiat will also be part of the panel. But also part of that panel will be our guest reactor. And let me introduce her. Her name, I think I mentioned it earlier. Her name is Dr. Pia Natalia Reyes-Sia. She is an adult and geriatric psychiatrist practicing in the Makati Medical Center, the Manila Doctors Hospital, the Medical City in Ortigas, and the Medical City South Luzon. Oh, she's really busy. She's certified in adult psychodynamic psychotherapy, and she's part of the teaching faculty for psychiatry residents at the Makati Med, as well as Medical City. And as I said earlier, she's actually part of the UPSA family as well. She was my batchmate. So I give the floor now to Pia. Hello.
Hello, thank you, Marvin. Thank
Sure.
you, Kat. Okay, so I'd like to begin my reaction by first saying thank you so much to Dr. Angelini. I know that he has already left. But and also, of course, Dr. Sir Mark Carpio, who for your excellent and inspiring talks. Thank you to Kat and Marvin for inviting me here and making me this a part of this illustrious panel of people I would never be able to rub elbows with in any other situation, and I only get to do it now online. Um, Acknowledging, of course, the presence of Kuya Ed. I don't know if you remember me, but I was there, a trainee of yours a long time ago. Also to Ma'am Anna for that wonderful piece, that wonderful video that really made my day. I mean, so many things happened to me today, and notwithstanding the lectures, the inspiring talks, but that really made me happy today to see that wonderful video of yours, which is a testament really on how music can affect us emotionally. And last but not the least, I would like to acknowledge the presence of some colleagues of mine that are here. So I thought I could sort of just wing this and not be very, um, very scientific. But now I have to be very scientific because I have colleagues here that are listening. Anyway, so I think Ma'am Rhea, nandyan kayo, and Ma'am Jafet. Okay, so maybe we can talk about this some other time. So I'll be brief. There are certain sort of, because as a psychiatrist, I'll be commenting on the mental health aspects of everything that has just been said. There are some things that I have taken away from the lectures of Dr. Angelini and Sir Mark that have a great impact to me as a mental health professional. And I'd like to just sort of highlight it so that everyone can see where the blend, how music and singing and choir singing can really affect mental health and how we can actually maximize that in this time. So one aspect of it is the idea of mastery, right? The sense of control that we can have over our situation and learning new things. As Dr. Angelini said, the parallel choral activities, the the making of online choirs, putting new things together, practicing. These are all things that enhance our mastery of our environment and our situation, and that gives us a sense of control in a time now where we feel that there is very little control, actually, that we can feel out of control. And so having these opportunities for mastery, opportunities of applying ourselves and keeping busy in things that we enjoy is very important. And so that's one thing that they've both highlighted in their lectures. Another thing is the relational aspect. So as Dr. Angelini said, the relational aspect has been lost to a great degree now in choir singing because of the pandemic. We cannot practice together. We cannot chit chat before or after, or even eat together afterwards, which is such a big thing for me as a member of a choir. Um, and and really, that's where the mental health benefits of singing in the choir kind of makes it separate from any other kind of music making, which is generally a solo aspect. Um, so although playing an instrument, singing on your own, these all have a mental health benefit. It's the singing together aspect that makes choir singing set apart as far as its mental health benefits are concerned. And there are studies that bring this out. There are studies that show this to be true. Um, so in that sense, we're gonna I'd like to sort of applaud everyone who's doing the online choir here, because it's not just the actual singing online and putting together sort of a finished product that helps the mental health of people. It's really the talking, the discussing, the planning, and all the things that kind of lead up to the finished product that is actually helping the mental health of people, because that's when people talk and discuss, and it's something that's not COVID, right? We can talk about, oh, paano to, medyo flat siya, etc., etc. Paano yung arrangement nito, etc., etc. And that kind of distracts us as well as enhances the relational aspect through online communication. And the last point that I'd like to raise, and because it really had an impact for me, was the aspect of doing something for others, right? So Sir Mark talked about hoping to inspire others, hoping to affect others, hoping to show their generosity through many projects that the MADS was hoping to sort of touch many lives. And that is also actually a very important aspect of mental health. It is as kind of an established coping skill, an established means of like coping mechanism is to be kind to others. So when you are sad, when you feel like you're languishing, when you feel like you're more anxious, actually it relieves you somewhat when you are doing something for someone else. And in this way, uh, choir projects that touch many lives does that, not just for the lives it's touched, but also the life that's doing the touching. So in other words, the participant, the one working to help others, also gets a mental health benefit. So while we're all hoping that the COVID situation will end soon, right? And no, acknowledging that online singing is subpar compared to the real thing, it's still an important way to keep choirs and friendships afloat, and to keep relationships alive, and to share hope among ourselves by singing and by giving hope to others. So that's really a vital support. So I'm reading from my notes now. It's really a vital support individually to the person doing the singing and part of the choir, and also to our collective morale as a nation. And so I would like to take this opportunity to thank all those here who are actually part of choirs, because you continue to work together to make music. You are an invaluable pillar in our mental health support, in our mental health pandemic. Okay, so please continue to make music. Okay. Thank you very much. That ends my reaction.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Pia.
much,
Thank you,
Dr.
and it's good to see you again. Thank you,
We have
thank you.
several comments, Kuya Marvin, in the chat box.
Absolutely. Go
Um,
ahead, Kat.
But first, maybe we can call in all our speakers, special guest Ate Ana. We would like to call in also our very own Kuya Ed, the choir master, the conductor, our mentor, and our friend Kuya Ed, to join us in this Q&A.
And of course,
And so,
Sir Mark.
and also Sir Mark. Hi.
Hi, Kuya Ed.
Hello, Sir Mark. Hello, Marvin. Hello, Dr. Kat. Hello, Pia. Hello, Anna.
Hi,
Dami.
Kuya.
Hello. Thank you very much.
Thank
Sir
you,
Mark,
and thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us.
or
It's
Andy
wonderful.
TV, wherever you are. Hello, thank you.
Ang daming nagpo-post ng comments, Kat, no? They're saying that this is really a good experience for them. It's a good mix of scientific thought as well as the artistic side of things. What else are you reading out there, Kat?
Uh, Actually, I have a question here.
Oh, you
Let
do?
me
Okay.
just check. All right. No, actually, it's not a question, but more of a commentary for Sir Mark. This is from Sir Joel Navarro. Hi, sir. Ayan.
Hello, Joel.
He commented that I remember our conversation in Grand Rapids about a decade ago, and now your initiatives are in fruition of those conversations. In your hands and leadership, the Philippine choral movement is not only resilient, but has come to terms with the pandemic in ways that uplift, breed more creativity, lend inspiration and hope. You have shown us that we cannot be stuck with missing our choral experience. So we have, in fact, learned to innovate. So bravo daw, Sir Mark.
Thank you, Sir
That's
Joel.
from,
Yes, I
he's
really
now
appreciate
Congratulations.
that.
among the viewers.
Wonderful, wonderful. One of the earlier questions actually was asked. He'd like to know what website or what Facebook page can they go to, so that they are kept abreast with these all of these musical opportunities. So maybe this is a time that Sir Mark, Anna, and maybe Kuya Ed, if you have websites that the attendees can go to.
Of course, the UPC Ambassadors website, then pinapost kami doon sa Facebook.
All
And
right.
enjoy. Tsaka mga activities. Hopefully, madagdagan pa activities namin.
Thanks, Kuya Ed. Sir Mark.
For the Mads, we mostly post these announcements of our projects and the Facebook page of the Philippine Madrigal Singers.
Thank
So you
you.
can follow us there.
Thank you. And Anna?
For me, you see my post when I ask when I invite you guys to sing. If you just want to sing at home and join my choirs, that's okay. It's not exclusive. You can just sing. That's it. And we do some individual lessons as well. So if you want to learn something, also we like share. So there's a one for Visayas singers. If you're Visayan singers, we have the JRG Visayas. And if you're in Manila and if you're a male, there's Coro Ilustrado. And there's also the UANP Chorale, which makes these more competitive ones. So if you're just into jamming with us and you want to learn more, just join. Anybody can join now.
Is that something that we're seeing now as a trend in choral music, especially in the Philippines, that these groups are now combining? Is there that? Because there was mentioned earlier that there are some choirs, unfortunately, have kind of like died out, right? But there's still members who still wanna get in touch with their musical passion. So is this a trend that we're seeing? Is this one way that the choral landscape will evolve into? Is this something that you guys see?
I'd like to believe so because this is as I said earlier, this is one of our ways of coping. So we try to reach out to other groups. And I encourage, actually, I've been talking with some church choir conductors to reach out with one another and do something together. That's our way of inspiring each other.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I have another question here, Kuya Marvs. I
Sure.
think anyone can answer it. Since this pandemic has made singing together virtually with people who are physically apart, how do you think this will continue when this pandemic is completely done? Meaning we're already allowed to do face-to-face rehearsals eventually. Remark?
Anyone care to take
First?
a stab at it?
Well, yeah, we are learning a lot now. No, well, when let me just say first that Dr. Pia,
Okay. Yes.
there was something I got struck with what you said.
Okay.
Even the discussion, even the we discussed
Yes.
our music together, that is helpful. And I've never thought of it, but because I was focused on what the music that we do. Pero come to think of it, yes, after every session, after every discussion, I feel good. I feel really good when after every session, online session with the mads. Anyway, so I now that we are doing mostly singing alone, we get to listen more to our voices, to our we get to criticize our own voices, our own singing, and I think that really helps a lot. I don't think I believe so. That it affects the way we sing as a whole also. So I'd like to think na when we come together, hopefully soon, we will really. I will be amazed with the outcome because everybody's really raising their standards.
That's true, that's true. And yun nga, ang ganda rin ng perspective ni Dr. Reyes with regards to just the planning alone, it makes you bond din po, no?
Mm-mm.
Any other thoughts? Ma'am Anna, any thoughts?
Um, I feel the same way. You know, when there was no pandemic, it was hard for me to pay attention to their individual development because diba, it was all you need to blend. And then after the rehearsal, let's go on our separate ways or let's eat out. Yeah, that was the good one. But since the pandemic, since we cannot rehearse together, and the only way that you can actually rehearse your singers is through individual lessons. And then huli, you will find out who among your singers cannot read notes well, who are having a difficult time with their voices. So if they give you time and you have time with each other, it's really good. It feels good to have time with Chika, with an individual members, and have time ba to check and guide them in a more personal manner. Oh, ito gawin mo. Ay, hindi. Matagal mo pa naman ginagawa yan. Hindi, ganito. So, there's time. There's time. There's time to develop your singer. So I'm really hoping that indeed, if this is done, hopefully my singers are really better.
That's good to hear.
And maybe,
Kuya
Yes,
Ed,
Kuya.
any thoughts po?
and maybe to add with what my very good friend Sir Mark stated kanina, na after this pandemic, we might be amazed with the result because I think with our individual, yung binasabit natin na individual voice, di ba, three things are achieved. First, di ba, hindi siya magsasabit ng may mali. So, I think habang ulit siya, namamaster ang tono, at nagiging matalas, number two, magiging matalas ang tenga for intonation. And then number three, yung sinabi naman ni Ma'am Ana, I can vouch for that and endorse that also na this will be a time for your singers and you to have a closer relationship, interaction, correct each other, and chit-chat, and to have a deeper relationship with individual members. Unlike pag sama-sama tayong lahat, there are some people who are very, very close, who are somewhat close. I think with this setup, we can be equally close to everyone. And maybe I can ask Sir Mark if you can share with us the technique you're doing because I think all the choirs now are doing in online virtual performances. Of course, di ba? Hindi man totoong sama-sama tayo talagang madaya, nadadaya yung technology. Meanwhile, Sir Mark, please share with us what you do in the maths kasi di ba I heard before gagawa kami ng line ng soprano, sasabayan. Line ng alto, sasabayan. Line ng tenor, you will sing. After that, pag nabuo, ay, parang walang feelings. practical. And then I think I heard from one of your webinars or one of your lectures how you do it para magmukha siyang natural. Please share it. Thank you.
Uh, First, Kuya Ed, well, thank you po. But as I said kanina po, we're still learning. Pero I think
Yung
I am
parang na
fortunate.
yung isang soprano, tapos sasabay soprano, pag
Opo, yes.
sorry.
I am fortunate that we have in the group several people who are into this yung music production thing. So the in at first we what we did was to record every to have one person record his or her track one at a time, and then the other person will sing together with that hanggang sa dumami na po. That's how I think that's the reason why we na tumagal po yung first ano namin. But now we don't have to do that, but what we do is we actually upload everybody's tracks, or maybe in sectionals, in a digital audio workstation where everybody can listen to the combination of their voices. So that by doing so, they can hear. If there's a need to modify their voice, their tone, or their color, or their dynamic level, or diction, or if they would hear if they made a mistake, because they are listening to each other as a section. So yun po yung ginagawa namin. We get to do that now.
Sir Mark, could you share because someone actually asked what kind of software or editing tools, technological tools that the choir can use, no, for the layered sound of the choir. So can you share that?
Actually, yes, of course. There are actually a lot. There are actually, and even even in our group, parang each one is more familiar with different what do you say this? We call it a digital audio workstation, or the DAW. So, pero what we did, whatever way you record it, we upload it we use BandLab. So that's what we use now. So we get to upload all the tracks there, or in sections, so they can listen to each other. But they have different ways of recording themselves. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. There's a question here, Kat, asking about how to motivate choir members, especially when you were not able to really meet physically. What kind of activities, and maybe we can direct a quick question first to Pia to answer that, because the whole, and this is based on my experience as well. What I hear that singing can be therapeutic and all, it can also be quite terrorizing, especially if you're especially for an oldie like me who's not familiar with doing it this way. I'm so used to just singing with a group. So how can a choir conductor, help someone who is kind of like terrified or very anxious about going into this new kind of, this kind of new performing?
Okay. Sige. Thanks, Marvin, for that question. Sandali ha. I'm not a choir conductor kasi.
But for,
in this setup.
siguro from a relationship kind of
Okay.
thing, or that kind of dynamic.
I guess I mean, this is how I'd probably, if a choir person wanted to ask me, this is probably how I'd answer, but I'm not sure. I have not had this tried out pa in real life. Okay, if this worked. Okay. So I think one way is to sort of just emphasize that this is just a game. This is just playing around. Nothing too serious. And that's actually the beauty of online stuff. You can always repeat. Right? You can always do it again. What's the big deal? Pahinga ka lang. Tomorrow. I mean, be kind, be gentle. You don't have to like, oh my gosh, that's the beauty actually, I think. Na hindi siya performance, right? When we kill ourselves over, oh my gosh, hindi ko siya memorize, etc., etc. We're just it's a game. It's just a game. That's the first one. The second would be maybe having more discussion with choir members, like a choir conductor could have more just talking time, Not so much yung, ito, we have to do this. Ito, by Saturday, dapat tapos na yung first half. Ganyan, ganyan. Mga ganun, you have this like tension. Maybe there could be time of let's just chat. Let's just make this easy, and kamusta ka na dyan? That kind of thing for everyone. Perhaps that's the other thing I'd like to parang to emphasize. Yan. But that's
Thanks,
that's
Pia.
that's just, yeah, what I can come up with right now.
But thank you, thanks very much. Any tips from our car conductors?
Sige, may sasabihin ako. Yung sinasabi, a reaction to the reaction. Yung sabi ni Dr. Pia kanina na, yun nga, and related to what you have just said, na talagang wag itrato yung rehearsal na ang meeting natin sa online na parang talagang serious rehearsal, dapat kumatapos, dapat ganito, dapat maganda, alam mo, ganyan din ako. Napansin nga, I just started, actually, for your information, 1 year wala kaming ginawa, walang rehearsal. Sinadya ko yun kasi 17, punong-puno kami, 18, punong-puno kami, 19, punong-puno kami, pinagpahinga ko. Pero ang hindi ko naisip, talagang during this pandemic, it really will help us. It could have helped us earlier na talagang nag-i-interact. Yung nasabi mo sa akin kanina na interaction is napakahalaga other than singing. Then secondly, itong sinabi mo sa akin recently na just fun, just very good, very good. I think that is a very good attitude. Now, I'll just talk about two things. Gusto ko i-share sa inyo. Kasi di ba, ang matatakot yung mga trainee. Parang nahihiya. Ay, magpapatawa ako, magpapakorne ako, kahit ako magmukhang tangi, gano'n. Pero meron akong sasabihin. Alam mo, problema ko, hindi trainee. Ang trainee, pag in-encourage mo, nagcha-challenge eh. Sa experience ko recently, alam ko sino nahihiya. Yung old members, Kuya Ed, kinakalawang na ako. Kuya Ed, wala na akong boses. Parang ganon. Ang gusto ko sabihin nga, alam mo, Sir Mark and Ma'am Ana, I'm encouraging all the alumni members, even the Kalayaan Corpad who are now 60 years old, join, just vocalize lang. Tawa, maganda, magkakilala ang lumat bago, parang ganon. So,
Tama ko.
na hopefully tayo lahat na conductors ginagawa na din yon as for the advice and at a post advice of Dr. Pia na pagyamanin namin. Thank you, Pia. Thank you, Sir Mark.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And we have one last comment, I think, from Ma'am Jai Sabas Aracama.
Oh, Jai.
Bye.
Hi, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. Ito po, address to all our conductors. Hello, dear colleagues and masters. Thank you so much for inspiring us all. This is our new normal for choral conductors and choristers. Now the situation we have will go on for another year or so. As conductors, may I ask each one, I'm curious to know, how do you take care of yourself? Not to be burnt out, as you know, to prepare materials and to rehearse for a virtual choir production is not a joke to do online. How do you balance your sanity with this routine now so that you yourself do not lose the passion and energy to go on? Again, my sincerest congratulations and admiration to you all.
Yes. So how do you take care of this? You cannot pour from an empty cup, right?
Yes.
So how does let's start with Ate Ana, ladies first. How
I
do you
don't know
stay
what to
fabulous?
say.
How do you stay
I don't
fresh?
know what to say if I'm taking care of myself. Kasi, you know what?
Matutulog ka pa ba?
Honest, ha? I'm kind of sitting down here where you see me now. Like, a minimum siguro of 9 hours per day to 16 hours. Like, nagreklamo na nga. My husband is complaining that I'm not going out of my chair. I'm just being honest that actually sometimes I don't like it, but a lot of times I don't really mind. I love what I do.
Good.
I'm a musician by heart, and I think maybe if I teach a classroom or I'm stressed by students, I won't like it. But when I teach one-on-one or mix now, I learned to mix. I really studied. I cried over it. Because alam mo naman tayo, oldie, it's hard to be techie. But I really cried and tried because I don't want to die. I'm going to die if I'm not going to make music. So when I'm here sitting down, I could do this for hours. Just the music washing over me and having conversations with my members. I am not really tired. I like it. So maybe I'm not so sure, huh? If that, I don't know, Dr. Pia, does that contribute to a person's well-being that you don't really get sick because you feel happy?
Oh, yes, of course. You are you are so lucky, as I am as well. You are so lucky that you're doing something you love. And so when you do something you love, right, it's not work anymore. Diba? That's what they say, right? If you find something you love, that's it. Siguro lang, the one thing I am a little worried about is the lack of movement. Because as a doctor, that's not very healthy. Okay, medyo ako kinakabahan, right? I mean, it's wonderful that you are young and healthy pa, but that might not fly so much a few years down the line. I am a geriatric psychiatrist, right? So I see in the long term, like what will you look like 60, 70, 80? Is this something sustainable? Right? Will it keep hypertension away? Yung mga things like that. So maybe that's the only aspect. But aside from that, of course, continue. Please continue to do the thing that you love. Okay. Pero yun lang, since you asked me to comment, ma'am, ayan ang comment ko.
Galaw-galaw ng konti.
Dance to the things.
Dance ng konti.
Galaw-galaw.
Nice naman ako, no?
Sir Mark, would you like to comment on this?
Can
How
I
did
also
you care of
react to
yourself?
also react to what Anna said? Kasi si Ana, kahit nung before the pandemic naman talaga namang hindi namamahinga yan. She travels a lot, and well, I really believe she loves what she does now. I'm trying to think what did I do also, but
Do you
yeah,
have a routine, Sir Mark, or something
Learn
that
how to
a
cook, Sister
ritual
Mark.
before you go into the whole sessions?
no, I will referring to Ma'am Jai's question.
Mm.
Pero I have to admit that I think I saw a message earlier also about this. Na the younger ones, or Anna also said kanina, the younger ones know more about this technological advancement what they're doing now. They know more about that than I do. However much I want to learn about it because of the other things that I have to do, mukhang kailangan I have to spend time na yun lang ang gagawin ko talaga, pag-aaralan ko yon, which I know Anna is doing. Ano masasabi ko lang doon, Anna, sana all. But I still I think I will have some days to work to study that really. So I've learned how to what do you call that, entrust. I've learned how to ask some of the singers to do things. I've learned how to assign different tasks for the different to different singers, and of course we work on it together. They may be doing much of those stuff in the computer, but they at the end of the day they share it with me, and we do the judging together. And that's in doing that I also learned. Kaya I think that helped in I've learned to trust the singers also. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Sir Mark. Kuya Ed,
Uh,
your secret to keeping your sanity daw.
okay, nung una, nagtinda akong leche plan.
Bagong racket.
A little background, kasi we're about talking about music, about technical things, about medical advice, about your own personal experiences. Maybe, ang akin, mabilis, parang overall, parang do what you want to do that makes you happy. Number one, yan ang general. Now, I will just share with you that I was diagnosed with an early stage of dementia, and I think the cause was when it was announced the pandemic, March to April, May, June, nag-relax ako. Sabi ko, wow, grand vacation. Wala akong ginawa kundi Netflix, YouTube, cellphone. Hindi pa rin masama pala sa brain yun. Kaya nagkaroon ako ng multiple, please correct me, Dr. Pia, ischemic changes is mild brain strokes. Is that correct? Mild ischemic, tama ba?
If you have mild ischemic changes, like white matter changes,
is that a mild stroke?
It it's hard to say but you can say that. Parang pwede na rin.
Yung
Okay,
mga
pwede na rin.
yung yung dulo daw namatay. So anyway,
Yes.
the cause was I was a very busy person. Nung tumigil daw, yung pala ating mga cells namamatay pag hindi nagagamit. So in any case, I just like to share with you that advice ng doctors, advice ng friends, which I would advise my friends, my colleagues here, na make yourself busy by keeping in touch with your high school classmates, mga best friends ng high school, and talk about old incidents, old events, and that will somehow old data na hindi nagagamit, mabubuhay. And I was told by a psychologist, Dr. Marge Holmes and even Dr. Lenny De Jesus, both psychologists and psychiatrists, na pag yung lumit ang aking hippocampus, irreversible. Pero para maging active siya at maging healthy ulit, just talk to old people, talk about old incidents. Meanwhile, ang sa susunod ko naman, that's yung sa personal health. So padalo naman, maano ako sa pagkain. Ma'am Jai, bumaba ang aking sugar. Naging from 1,000, naging 500. But, of course, everybody knows, UPSA knows this. I'm a great eater. Great eater. Matako ako talaga. Ay, talagang tinitima ko lahat. Meanwhile, ganito, Sir Mark and Ana, ako mas matanda sa inyo. Kami ni Jai medyo hindi nagkakalayo. Ganito ginagawa ko. Ngayon yan, ang dami kong gulay, ang dami kong isda, ang dami kong prutas dito. Pero, once in a while, treat yourself. Kumakain ako ng yellow cup pizza, Shakey's pizza, Abineto pasta. Medyo treat yourself once a week. No, not once a week. Once in 2 weeks or once a month. Then for the first time in 2 years, tumikam ako ng bagnet na kare-kare.
Wow.
Do things with your old friends. Do eat healthy foods and sometimes treat yourselves. Then 3, talk with your choir. We are all conductors and I think we have to retain and maintain our relationship, individual relationships to our members na napabayaan ko. Sorry, UPSA, napabayaan ko sila for more than a year. Ngayon nagbe-make up ako. And I think it's good for me, sabi nga ni Sir Mark, hindi kami techie. Ang hirap, di ko alam yan, di ko natindihan yan. Even Ana, sabi ko, Ma'am Ana, anong gagawin? Si Ma'am Ana nga, magaling eh. Medyo marunong ng konti. So ganito, ang ganda na sinabi ni Sir Mark na mas relax kami dahil we learn to trust and na-divide namin ang trabaho. So medyo relax kami. Pero we will not stop using our brain by involving ourselves in the planning, organizing, advising, coaching, parang ganon. Critic, parang ganon. So ang mind is busy. So Ma'am Jai, kain tayo ng konti lang, yung makaroni natin. Thank you.